I never planned to fall in love with my husband's cousin. Trust me. If someone had told me 5 years ago that my marriage would end this way, I would have laughed in their face. Because back then, my life looked perfect. I had the husband everyone admired. A beautiful home. A respected family name. From the outside, my life looked like a fairy tale. But today, my marriage is gone. My family barely speaks to me. And the man I risked everything for disappeared from my life like I meant nothing. But the truth is, this story isn't just about cheating. It's about loneliness. It's about emotional neglect. And about how one small decision can destroy everything. So let me tell you how it all started. 5 years ago, I married a man named Daniel. Daniel was the kind of man people respected the moment he walked into a room. Tall, confident, successful. He ran a fast-growing business and came from a powerful family. When he proposed to me, my friends said I had won the marriage lottery. Our wedding was beautiful. White roses everywhere. A luxury venue. Family and friends cheering as we said our vows. I truly believed I had found my forever. The first year of marriage felt like a dream. We traveled together. Went on romantic dinners. Stayed up late talking about our future. But slowly, things began to change. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. Just slowly enough that I almost didn't notice. Daniel began working longer hours. His business started expanding. Meetings turned into late nights. Late nights turned into business trips. And eventually, our marriage started feeling less like a partnership, and more like two strangers sharing a house. At first, I told myself it was normal. Successful men worked hard. That was part of life. But weeks turned into months. And months turned into years. And suddenly I realized something terrifying. I was lonely in my own marriage. Some nights I would cook dinner and wait for Daniel to come home. I would set the table. Light candles. Pour wine. Then hours would pass. And eventually my phone would ring. Sorry babe, I'll be late again. Late again. I scream. Eventually I stopped cooking those dinners. I started eating alone. In silence. Because when loneliness becomes routine, you stop expecting things to change. But everything changed the day Daniel's cousin Michael came back to the country. He had been living abroad for years and recently returned to start a new business. One evening Daniel casually mentioned it. Michael might stay with us for a while, he said. He just needs somewhere temporary. I didn't think much about it. Family helping family. That was normal. But the day Michael arrived, I remember feeling something has shifted. He walked through the door with a suitcase and a warm smile. Hi, you must be Daniel's wife, he said. There was something about him. Not just his looks, but his energy. He had this calm, attentive presence. The kind of person who made you feel seen. Something I hadn't felt in a long time. At first, Michael and I were just polite, friendly conversations. Simple greetings. But slowly, we began talking more. And I started noticing something. Michael paid attention. If I cooked dinner, he complimented it. If I looked tired, he asked if I was okay. If I spoke, he actually listened. And that may sound small. But when you've been feeling invisible for years, small kindness can feel like oxygen. Soon we began talking in the evenings. Especially when Daniel traveled. Which was often. At night we would sit in the living room. Talking about life. About dreams. About mistakes. About love. Sometimes we talked for hours. And without realizing it, those conversations became the best part of my day. I tried to ignore the feeling growing inside me. Because I knew what it was. And I knew it was wrong. Michael was family. Daniel trusted the both of us. But emotions don't follow rules. And slowly, the line between friendship and something more started disappearing. I noticed the way Michael looked at me sometimes. Like he wanted to say something but stopped himself. And I would catch myself thinking about him. More than I should. Much more. But everything finally changed one night. A night I will never forget. Daniel was away on another business trip. Michael and I were at home. Then suddenly the power went out. The entire house went dark. We lit candles and sat in the living room. At first we joked about it. But then the room became quiet. Too quiet. Michael looked at me differently that night. Like he was fighting something inside himself. Then finally, he spoke. "I tried to ignore this feeling," he said quietly. "But I can't anymore." My heart started racing. "I think I'm falling for you." Time stopped. Everything inside me froze. Because the truth was, I had been falling for him too. After that night, nothing was the same. We tried to keep our distance. We really did. But every moment between us felt heavier, charged, dangerous. Every accidental touch sent electricity through my body. Every glance felt like a secret conversation. And the guilt was unbearable. Because Daniel trusted both of us completely. But secrets have a way of revealing themselves. And ours exploded one night. Daniel came home earlier than expected from a business trip. Michael and I were in the kitchen, standing too close, looking at each other the way we shouldn't. And Daniel saw us. The silence that followed was suffocating. But what happened next shocked both of us. Daniel didn't yell. He didn't get angry. Instead, he sat down calmly. Then he said something none of us expected. "I guess we're all hiding secrets." Daniel confessed something that changed everything. He had been having an affair too. For 2 years. With someone from his company. The marriage I had been trying to protect had already been broken. Long before Michael and I crossed the line, the truth hit me like a wave. Our perfect marriage had been an illusion. But the story didn't end there. Because the biggest betrayal was still coming. After Daniel and I started divorce proceedings, Michael promised we would finally be together. No secrets. No lies. A fresh start. But weeks later, he disappeared. No calls. No texts. Nothing. Just silence. And in that silence, I realized the painful truth. The man I destroyed my marriage for was never planning to stay. In the end, I lost everything. My marriage. My reputation. My family's trust. And the man I thought I loved. But the biggest lesson I learned was this. Sometimes what we call love is really just loneliness. And loneliness can make attention feel like destiny. So I want to ask you something. If you were in my position, what would you have done? Would you stay loyal to a lonely marriage? Or follow your heart? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more powerful real-life stories. Because sometimes, the most dangerous love stories are the ones we never meant to start. Stay tuned for part 2 of this story.